Welcome to the game of the gifts. Now that you've gone through the entire class so far, you have a pretty good idea about what's going on with emotional states, how they affect the way they think, how they affect the way they move, and really probably at this point realizing that you can train emotions. And the reason why this is called the game of the gifts is that if you remember the module called gamification in Holistic Systems of High Performance, which was the free course that I have in this greater course, it's that we learn 20 to 40 times faster in play than we do in work. And although emotional induction is incredibly helpful, and it really helps you, I feel, tap into gratitude in a very deep way, sometimes we feel like we don't have time to do that. But what we can do is play the game of the gifts. And that really helps for me, help me sustain this higher level emotional state. And what we do in this game is we simply go throughout our day and we make an active point of noticing all the things that are making our lives easier, better, more fun, more enjoyable, things that just happen to go our way and get us closer towards our goals. And the really important thing about this game, unlike daily wins, is that it has to have nothing to do with us. We should feel like we don't deserve it. It should just feel like things are going our way and we think, really? Wow, that's so exciting. For me, thank you. That should be the feeling. And the first part of this is noticing these gifts. So highly recommend put alarms in your phone to just say, notice the game of the gifts, or have a reminder come up just to kind of get your brain looking for things around you that you can appreciate, even if it's just seeing how beautiful something is and recognizing that you're glad that it exists. That is a part of practicing gratitude. Appreciation is a part of gratitude. The other part of this is expressing it. And you can either express it to other people, you can whisper it under your breath, but a very important part is actively either vocalizing it or writing it down. And I highly recommend, if you are just doing this throughout the day, say out loud that you are grateful for something. Say how beautiful something is. Say how excited you are for something. Because when we create muscular contractions that align with our thoughts, so our vocal cords are muscles that are contracting and they are highly tied to our emotional state. You'll notice people who are really stressed out might talk like this, and people who are really grateful or relaxed will have a deeper voice. You simply expressing things makes it so that your body remembers. It allows you to stay in this state because you are literally creating vibrations along the same thought pattern, along the same emotional pattern, and along now the same physical pattern. So that is one way to play the game of the gifts. The other way that you can do it, if you feel like you're not keeping up with it throughout the day, is to either start it in the morning or do it in the evening. But I think the evening is incredibly useful because it allows us to review our day. And practicing the game of the gifts at the end of the day can simply be taking out a pen and paper, or even just going through your day and thinking about it before you go to bed and thinking about all the things that went your way, all the things that you're grateful for. Maybe it's friends, maybe it's conversation, maybe it's a really great sandwich, maybe it's that the sun was out, maybe it's that you had an amazing practice, maybe it's that you're grateful about the energy in the gym. But you can either write it down at the end of the day in bullet form, or you can add it to a calendar, just like daily wins. And what this does again is it primes our mind to create a confirmation bias at a very important time, right before we sleep, that things are going our way. And this allows us to start actively changing our thought patterns and grooving in a different way of thinking and perceiving the world. And again, I'll just remind you of some physiological reasons about why this works. If we learn 20 to 40 times faster in play than we do in work, then this game allows us to learn a lot faster and to allow us to sit in those emotional states much more easily. We also get a big hit of dopamine, and if we're really appreciating another living being, we get oxytocin, which again allows us to hormonally stay in a more elevated state emotionally, which allows us to think more clearly. Because again, higher level emotional states are associated with higher creativity, higher openness, higher levels of problem solving, because we're not super narrowly focused like we can be in stress. And this game allows us to top up our emotional level throughout the day. If you start your day with a quick gratitude induction, you can listen to the video that I gave you in the last module, or you can do your own and just take a minute, close your eyes, and truly feel grateful for whatever it is that you want to feel grateful for, and actually tap into it, breathe into it, allow yourself to smile. This is something that will carry you throughout the day once you've topped up that emotional state. Now the question is, how do you win this game? Now, if you're like me and you really think along the lines of what gets measured gets managed, which is incredibly useful because our brains are tricky and it is really easy to go back to old patterns. Again, I highly recommend getting a calendar, writing it down, seeing things build up. And you will start to notice that your calendar gets fuller and fuller. And I generally say it takes about a week to 2 weeks to really notice that your brain has changed, because it'll start to become the default that you are looking for gifts. And you'll start to really notice that it's just happening automatically. And once you start noticing that that rate has shifted, you have won the game. But if you also just see the gifts adding up in your calendar a little bit differently, if you just notice that you are writing constantly and it's easier and easier and easier to find these gifts, then you know that you are ready for the next level, which is level 2 of the game of the gifts. So I'll see you there.